Sharon Ross Ingram, America's leading power strategist here, and I am so excited to be discussing in this video the question of what is a strategy? And that's because that question, believe it or not, rarely comes up in most strategic planning efforts. And that is a fundamental defect with most strategic planning methods. But I'm going to help you with that today because it is crucial that you and your team have a unified definition of strategy from the very beginning that allows you to evaluate your ideas and begin turning those ideas into actionable strategies. Because in business, actionable strategies are the only kind that matter. So, what is a strategy? Most definitions of strategies go like this. A strategy is a clear decision and statement about a chosen course of action for obtaining a specific goal or result. Now that's a very nice and brief definition that could suffice for most generic conversations, but it is useless in organizational planning because it provides no basis for determining whether or not the strategy you're considering is actionable. And again, actionable strategies are all that matter. So, what is an actionable strategy? I want to share with you my definition of actionable strategy that I use when facilitating my clients' strategic planning efforts. And it goes like this. An actionable strategy is a comprehensively scrutinized decision about the most effective and efficient use of specific resources for systematically increasing competitive advantage and profits over a specific period of time. I want to call your attention to a few of the words in this definition because I want you to really get the impact it could have on your strategic planning efforts. Comprehensively scrutinize. This means thoroughly evaluating every idea from what assumptions are being made about that idea or strategy all the way to the mindset that's required for its successful implementation. Effective and efficient use of specific resources. This calls upon you to look at all of the things that you could potentially be doing with those very same resources that you're considering using for a specific strategy and determining whether or not it is the most efficient and most likely the most effective use of those resources. Systematically. Anytime you can systematize a method or process, you are going to be able to reap the benefits of economies of scale and be able to delegate more of the pieces of that process to someone that perhaps doesn't need as much education or training to execute it. Increasing competitive advantage and profits. Now, this is the very essence of what a business is in business for. Increasing profits, and you do that by increasing competitive advantage. So why not make sure from the very start that the ideas and strategies you're considering are likely to increase competitive advantage, which ultimately increases your profits. And finally, specific period of time. It is crucial to have a specific period of time in your plan so that you can have a time frame to measure results against and compare them over similar quarters in the years to come. But time frames are also important to have deadlines so that everyone is accountable for certain results by certain time. My definition of an actionable strategy is adaptable. This means that if your goal is not to increase competitive advantage or profits, then just insert your goal in that definition. For example, if your goal is to increase employee retention, then your goal would read like this. An actionable strategy is a comprehensively scrutinized decision about the most effective and efficient use of specific resources for systematically increasing employee retention over the next 12 months. That time frame is also adaptable. Developing actionable strategies are a fundamental part of my actionable strategic planning process. You can get more insight, more tips, and more strategies for enhancing your chances of having successful strategic planning sessions by regularly visiting my website, www.actionablestrategicplanning.com.